Hi students, welcome to this online class. Today we are going to see about class 7 science chapter 2. The name of the lesson is nutrition in animals. In our previous lesson we have started with arising a simple question as why do we need food? The importance of food are we know that all living things need food and water to live on. We need food because food gives us energy. Food keeps us healthy and provides us essential nutrients to fight against the diseases. These are all the importance of food. How? How do the food do all these things? Yes, our food contains mainly five major kinds of nutrients, namely vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Additionally, food also contains water and dietary fibers or roughages which are also required by our bodies. So the nutrients present in the food provide us energy. The nutrients present in the food keeps us healthy. So what is meant by nutrition in animals? The animal nutrition comprises the mode of taking food into the body, nutritional requirements of the body, and how animals can utilize their food. So this is the definition of nutrition in animals. So what are the different modes? The different modes are scraping, chewing, brewing, capturing, swallowing, and sucking are some modes of intake of food. You could see here how do the different animal have a different mode of feeding. You could pause the video and can go through this table. Digestion. What is meant by digestion? Just think in the previous thing we have said that our body requires us the nutrients, but are we intake of nutrients? No. We are consuming the food in bulk quantity. So it has to be breakdown. So this breakdown is known as digestion. The breakdown of complex components of food into simpler substances is called digestion. So which part do these things? The digestive system, the alimentary canal and the digestive glands together form a system in the human body which is responsible for the digestion of food in the body. And this system is called as digestive system. So the digestive system is the responsible for digestion. In this lesson, we are going to see detail about this digestive system. Clear? The food that we eat passes through a canal inside our body. The food is processed and utilized in the body and unused food is collected inside the canal only. This canal is called as alimentary canal. It is also known as digestive tract. The canal is divided into different parts. Here are the various parts. The first one is the mouth or buccal cavity, food pipe or esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine and anus. And there are three glands associated with the alimentary canal that secrete digestive juices that are used to convert the complex food substance into the simpler substance. What are the glands? Liver, pancreas and salivary glands. These are the three glands which help in our digestion. So as you see now, the alimentary canal and this digestive glands together form a system in the human body which is responsible for the digestion of the food in the body. This system is called as digestive system. The alimentary canal and the digestive gland together form a system which is known as digestive system. First let's start to see about the first organ, the mouth or buccal cavity. Ingestion. The process of taking in the food through the mouth is known as ingestion. The food is chewed with the help of teeth, saliva and tongue present in the mouth. So these three parts together and help in chewing the food. The salivary glands present in the mouth which secrete saliva which mixes the food moisture and breaks the starch present into the food into sugar. See, in the mouth there are various parts. Teeth is there, salivary gland is there, tongue is there. These three parts together help in chewing the food. The salivary gland secretes saliva which moist the food and make it easier to digest. And the salivary glands only break down the starch that present in the food. The teeth. Milk teeth. In the early childhood, a set of teeth grow in the children that then fall off after a certain age of 6 to 8 years. These teeth are called milk teeth. Once the milk teeth fall down, the teeth that grow after milk teeth fall off are called permanent teeth. They generally remain during the lifetime of a person or at least until the old age. So the teeth now we are all having is permanent teeth, and the teeth which the kids are having is the milk teeth. Once the milk teeth fall off, they also grow the permanent teeth. Different types of teeth. We know that each tooth of us is different one. How we can categorize them? First one is incisors, canines, premolars and molars. And these four types of tooth do some different work. You could pause the video here and see the work of this teeth. Next, tooth decay. What's tooth decay? A gradual damage of teeth is often known as tooth decay. How does it get damaged? The main cause of tooth decay is the presence of bacteria in the mouth that grow if we do not keep our mouth and teeth clean. Any leftover food present inside our teeth is broken down by such bacteria. As a result, an acid is released which damages the teeth slowly. Tooth decay can cause severe pain and even toothless. The tooth decay is caused mainly because of eating food with high sugar content, soft drinks and chocolates. See, this is the picture of the various stages of tooth decay. How can we prevent tooth decay? Clean your teeth with a brush or dental floss at least twice a day. Rinse your mouth after every meal you eat. Do not put a dirty finger or any unwashed food items in your mouth. The next one, food pipe or esophagus. The food pipe starts from the neck region and runs until the chest area in animals. When the food chewed, it moves through the food pipe and reaches the stomach through this path. The food moves in downward direction in the food pipe. So next, where does it go? Next, it reaches to the stomach. It is the widest part of the alimentary canal. The stomach is the widest part of the alimentary canal. It's a bag-like structure in the flat U shape. The stomach is connected with the food pipe and the small intestine. The stomach's inner lining produces three things. First one, mucus, and the mucus protects the stomach lining. Next, hydrochloric acid. It kills the bacteria present inside the stomach and activates the digestive juices. The digestive juices, they help in digestion of the food by breaking down the proteins present in the food into simpler substances. So these are the works of the stomach. Next, the liver. It is a gland reddish brown in color. It is known as the largest gland of the human body. See, stomach is the widest part of alimentary canal and the liver is the largest gland of human body. It secretes a digestive juice called bile juice. The bile juice is stored in the gallbladder. The bile juice makes it possible for the body to digest the fat. See, liver secretes the bile juice and it has been stored in the gallbladder. Clear? Next, small intestine. It is a highly coiled structure. The length of the small intestine is almost 7.5 meter, which is longer than us. It is longer than us, our human body. but it has been coiled, so it has been placed correctly there. The liver and the pancreas release digestive juices into the small intestine. The inner lining of the intestine also secretes some digestive juices on its own. The small intestine breaks the carbohydrates into glucose, fats into fatty acids, and proteins into amino acids. How small intestine absorbs food? Absorption. It is a process by which the digested food enters the blood vessels of the small intestine. Villi. Villi is the small intestine, contains small finger-like structure called villi. They increase the surface area of the intestine, thereby increasing the amount of absorption. See, the small intestine do some very important work. What are the food that is break down by your stomach? The stomach will break down the food and it may properly convert into various nutrients. But nutrient has to be absorbed by your body. Then only we can get the energy, we can be healthy. So this absorption is done by the small intestine. To do the absorption, it has a special part called villi. It's just like a finger-like structure and it increases the surface area of the intestine, thereby increasing the amount of absorption. Once it absorbed by your body only, we can be healthy. The digested food gets into the blood vessels through the villi and then reaches the whole body. How does it reach the whole body? Yes, the blood only helps it. The blood only passes all over the body and it passes the nutrients. Assimilation. The process by which the organs of the body utilize the digested food and form complex substances which the body needs, such as protein, are called assimilation. The pancreas. It is a cream-colored gland present in the human body. It secretes pancreatic juice that helps in digestion of fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. The large intestine. Any food that is left undigested passes through the small intestine and enters the large intestine. It is a wide tube-like structure. It is only 1.5 meter long. Just see the controversial. We are saying that small intestine and it is length about the 7.5 meter, and we are saying large intestine but it's only 1.5 meter long. The main function of the large intestine is to absorb water and salts from the undigested food. The rest of the waste undigested food passes through the rectum. This is the place where the undigested food being stored. Egestion. It is a process by which the waste undigested food get out of the body through the anus. So remember the thing. First, the word ingestion we have seen. Ingestion means the process of intake of food. Next, we have seen digestion. Digestion means breakdown of food. Once it has been breakdown, then it has to be absorbed. That is known as absorption. Once it has absorbed, then it has to be reaches to the whole body, and that is known as the assimilation. Once all this thing process is completed, and if there is any undigested food, means it has to be removed from our body, and that is known as egestion. Clear? See, this undigested food has been stored in the place of rectum and it is passed out by the body called anus. In the rectum, the undigested food has been stored and through this anus, it has been removed out. Next, we are going to see about the digestion in grass-eating animals. At first, the animals do not chew their food and instead swallow it. You can see that in a cow. Whenever it gets the food, it eats very fast. While it eating, it doesn't chew it properly and instead it will swallow it. This partly digested food is stored in the rumen. The rumen is a place which is especially in the grass eating animals. The rumen is the sac-like structure present between the food pipe and the small intestine in grass-eating animals like cows and buffalo. It is not present in the human. It is mainly present in the the grass-eating animals like cows and buffaloes. This partly digested food, which is it doesn't chew and it swallowed. No, that partly digested food present in the rumen is called cud. The cud returns to the mouth in these animals and then they chew it. This is called rumination. So we can see this in most of the cows. Whenever it finds food, it eats fastly, and later it can sit in a place and it keep on chewing. Yes, most of you had seen that. And this process is known as rumination. When the cow finds its food, it eats and it does not chew it properly. Instead, it will swallow. And it's stored in a place called rumen. And this partly digested food is known as the cud. And when it finds time, it return the cud from the rumen. And then it chew properly. And then again it will swallow it. This process of bringing back the cud, the bringing back the partly digested food is known as rumination. And the animals which follow this method are known as ruminants. The animals that swallow their food at first and then chew it later on are called ruminants. The grass-eating animals can digest cellulose while several other animals cannot. These animals have a different type of bacteria present in the stomach that helps in the digesting the cellulose. That is why the grass-eating animal can eat most of the vegetables raw, but we cannot. That's why we are cooking it. While cooking it, we can make steam the cellulose. See, this is the picture. Can you see the esophagus? And then it reaches to the rumen. Rumen is the place where this partly digested food has been stored. Okay. Next, feeding and digestion in amoeba. The amoeba is a microscopic organism which is made up of only one cell. So even it has only one cell, the amoeba has a cell membrane, cytoplasm, a nucleus which is round and dense and small vacuoles which are like bubbles present all over it. The amoeba is capable of changing its shape and position on its own. It uses fall teeth called pseudophodia to take in the food present in the surrounding. So even it has a single cell, it has a cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus and vacuole, all the things. And it's been keep on changing its shape. When it finds its food, it edges out the false teeth. It is known as the pseudophodia. And it surrounds the food. Whenever it wants to intake the food, the pseudophodia or finger-like projection come out of its body. The pseudophodia engulfs the food in and the food gets stored in the food vacuole. Then it secretes some digestive juices inside the vacuoles that help in the digestion of the food. The amoeba then absorbs the digested food and uses it for fulfilling different life processes such as multiplication and growth. The amoeba also secretes out waste products or undigested food out of its body. You could see the picture. See, when it finds its food, it's just surrounding the food. That is known as pseudophodia. And it's surrounded and it engulfs. It has been stored in the food vacuole. In the food vacuole, it secretes some digestive juices and the juices digest the food and then it absorbs it. Next, see the last picture. They mention as digestion. Once it is digested completely, it just adjusts out of its body. Thank you all. We'll see you on the next session with the next lesson.